All right. All right. All right. Okay. So, yeah, this morning as I was getting off work, I saw that this got posted. And right now, what is it? The current? It's like about 3 hours ago. Yeah, I saw it this morning, and I'm not gonna watch the video because I don't want to get copyrighted by Pokemon because I don't know what the heck they're gonna even think about. But this is public domain, so they should allow me to look at it. And I really wanted to talk about this because there's a few key things that I'm enjoying. All right. Obviously, I mean, number one, they announced that they're bringing back Pokemon Concierge, which, if you guys have not watched that, was probably one of like a sleeper favorite of mine. Like, if you've never watched Pokemon Concierge, it's got such a vibe to it that I was super excited when they announced that they're going to be bringing it back with some more episodes. To be honest, this is what I love, the art style of this. I love the idea, the claymation, the animation of it all. They did show off a few new little test things, which looked really cool. But it's just a cozy show, I guess is the best way I can describe it. The Pokemon Presents video, like the Pokemon Concierge, is really just a very cozy show to watch. Like, I'd show this to my kids and I'd still have a great time watching it. So 100%, if you guys, they said that they put it up on YouTube. If you guys have not watched the first 4 episodes, highly would recommend watching them. It is amazing. It is just a comfy show. It kind of matches the vibe of like what Pokemon wants to be, of being like, oh, relaxing and child friendly, all this cool stuff. So I'm super excited about that. There was a bunch of stuff announced for Pokemon Go and like, the Pokemon games, right? There is like, I didn't even realize that there were some Pokemon games that were out there. I was just not paying attention to. I saw that Pokemon Rivals was still around and that they're adding, I mean, it's not Pokemon Rivals, Pokemon Unite is what I should call it, really. I don't even know where it is going to show up. I hope they can show it. There we go. Joining the fray. Hold on. Let me see if I can mute this real quick. I just want to look at there we go. 3 new characters coming into Pokemon Unite. I haven't played it. It's essentially Pokemon League, League of Legends. If you guys have ever been curious as to what that is, I believe it's still free. And I think it was on the Switch and mobile, right? So there's that. That's fine. That's all good. I remember I played it for a little bit, got bored of it. This is weird to me. Like, I get it and I don't get it at the same time. Pokemon TCG Pocket is supposed to be the digital version of like collecting Pokemon cards and being able to battle with them. I get the digital battling and I get the packets. I'm surprised at how much people sink money into this as far as the digital asset goes, It's cool, it's awesome, but at the same time, I don't get it personally. They also did announce that they are bringing out Mega Evolution cards that are going to be, I think these are not digital, these are going to be physical cards that are going to show up. And it's crazy when it comes to Pokemon TCG. It's crazy to see how much the entire market has boomed for collecting these cards. I remember back in like it had to been like maybe like 2010s maybe ish, like Pokemon kind of went into a little bit of a lull. It wasn't as like popular. And I was like, that's insane. I was like, now coming into 2025, I'm just like, people are running rampant trying to collect these Pokemon cards, trying to get like grade A writings and stuff, like trying to resell, have some sort of resale value of this. And I was like, this is insane. I thought Pokemon cards were meant to be played and enjoyed. I didn't expect them to be worth mortgages, apparently. So, yeah, for your TCG guy people out there, you got Mega Lucario, Mega Gardevoir EX versions. To the people who are playing the digital version, props to you. If you're getting them for free, that's awesome. Not, as long as it's disposable income, you do you, boo. But not my cup of tea. Let's see here. They got some more stuff for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I was not really too thrilled about it. This was interesting. So they are releasing, essentially, the Pokemon Champions, which, in my opinion, this was eventually going to happen. Like the core mechanics of like a standard Pokemon battle are, I feel like, rudimentary enough and at least I think simple enough that any phone can handle it. Obviously, with graphics and stuff and the way with technology has evolved, they can start incorporating much more complex equations and calculations for Pokemon battles, right? And so, seeing that essentially now standard Pokemon battles are going to be in not only the Nintendo Switch, but also be cross platform onto your phone, I'm curious to see how you're going to collect the Pokemon as you go. The only thing I saw that could potentially be the reason why it would work is that they intend to connect it to Pokemon Home, which connects to Pokemon Go and Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which I was just joking to Wifey about this. It was like they're essentially turning Pokemon hunting and like, you know, if you were to go into like the Pokemon games and actually go walk around and looking for Pokemon, if you were to remove Scarlet and Violet, right? Hold on, I really want to show this up. If you were to remove Scarlet and Violet right now, like let's say these did not exist, right? And you just had strictly Pokemon Go, you've essentially turned the world into an IRL Pokemon game where people have to go walk around, look for wild Pokemon, capture them, and then send them to the Pokemon Home to connect to Pokemon Champions to allow them to battle other people online. So if you wanted like exclusive stuff, like, you know, for example, if you remember back in the OG Pokemon games, right? In order to get Scyther, you had to go to the Savari Zone in order to get lucky and get a Scyther that way. Imagine region lock Pokemon now, like in Pokemon Go, where it's like if you wanted a Japanese, if you wanted like a specific Pokemon that was only in Japan and it was like a Japanese exclusive, you would have to fly to Japan, go out and walk around Pokemon Go, collecting all the Pokemon, and then on top of that, transferring them to be able to get to Pokemon Champions. Not to mention trying to find the right EV stats and IV stats and all that stuff when it comes to like the hardcore members of the Pokemon community who are trying to like min max the stats of them. That is insanity. Although I will admit, at least if it does happen, you will at least have a lot of people who are playing Pokemon get healthier. They will walk around constantly looking around, trying to find where certain stops are, where they can get the most amount of stuff, right? At least within the core community, you're going to start getting healthier because if you start connecting your Pokemon Go to Pokemon Home and then connected to Champions, then you can actually get that kind of going. Although with, you know, Scarlet and Violet, that might kind of offset just because of the fact that it's like, oh, you know, you can just do it in game rather than walk around. If they removed Scarlet and Violet completely, like from the equation, and they just strictly had Pokemon Go to Home to Champions this way, imagine how many people would actually get like really healthy from walking around trying to collect the Pokemon in order to actually build like IV like top tier champions and like Pokemon to battle other people. It would turn like, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be a ranked mode. It has to be 100% a ranked mode. Imagine how sweaty it gets when you're going to have to walk around trying, like, if you're in the desert and you need like a desert style Pokemon, and you're sweating your balls off trying to find like a certain personality trait or an IV trait of like a Pokemon just in order for you to be able to start training them up into champions. That's just kind of funny to think about personally, but that's my thought process on that one. But for sure, I can already see it. It's easily going to be negated by the fact that we have Scarlet and Violet here. I'm like, all right, you know what? That's fine. They had to do that for some other people anyway. But going on here, we've also got Pokemon going into Latin America. So that's a whole new demographic to just crack into. And that's crazy to think about. I was thinking about, I thought it's like, okay, you know how like you have Japanese cards and then American cards that also have different rating systems and rarities based on the releases. Imagine now if you're a collector, you're trying to get into the Spanish market. Now imagine having to collect the Spanish versions of Pokemon cards and trying to look for like the mirrorless version, first edition of like a Pikachu or something in Spanish, and like see if you can get a rare from like 90s style version or something like that. That's actually a legit card. So there's that. I'll throw that out there, and I think you guys would understand. Like if you were collecting cards, it's like, oh, okay, now you got to start collecting international language versions for this one. So that sounds like a collector's nightmare, in my opinion, for me. That's just insane to think about. So yeah, obviously they're opening up to the Spanish region, and then here they started showing off Pokemon Legends Zeta A, I think it's called Zeta. I don't know what it is. At first, I thought, I was like, okay, standard Pokemon game, no problems here. But I forget the Legends series is technically based off of Arceus here. And so the mechanics are done differently, which blew my mind because I was like, we have waited, and they stated this, like the Pokemon franchise has been almost 30 years. I have waited for so long for them to innovate the battle formula that I finally saw it, and I was super excited until I started digging into it. But first, let me show you guys what I'm talking about here. See, look, there he's moving. He's moving. You saw that, right? Totodile went from here to here. We have movement into our Pokemon battles. And I was like, oh my God, we're getting like action-oriented Pokemon right now. My God, this is exactly what I wanted. There was something like Pokken. I was praying like, oh, is Pokken finally being incorporated into the mainline streams? You guys remember that? Like where we can actually fight as the Pokemon? I got super excited seeing this. I was like, this is it. This is exactly what we want. This is exactly what I was hoping for. Let me see if I can find it here. So obviously you guys can see they are implementing just a little bit of those snippets of, you know, Pokemon's fletchling and being able to capture them in real time. And then there is that where if you were trying to capture it, you know, you can still attack. But right there, you saw that UI for a split second. Pull back just a bit. Right here. Leaf Age, Razor Leaf, Leech Seed, Disarming Voice. You can actually start using it even more so. Boom, right here. Show it. Boom. You can move your Pokemon around. Or I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know if the Pokemon, you are controlling the Pokemon or if it's something else. Yeah, no. See, it's different. You're moving your character, I'm pretty sure, instead of the Pokemon. I had to like double check to make sure before I started going live on this. We were so close. I wanted us to be able to control the Pokemon rather than us having to move ourselves out of the way in order for our Pokemon to dodge attacks. Nintendo, Pokemon Company, you are so close to pulling this off. You're so close to just dominating the market with this. Instead of controlling the person, you should control the Pokemon. I'm pretty sure you'll be fine with just having the trainer just stand right here, because we want to replicate this like we'd see it in the anime or in the shows that we watch, where literally instead of the person moving around, which we've, you know, which we're seeing here, we want to just stand and have the trainer like right. Hold on, I'm gonna do this real quick. To have this, just put the trainer like right here. He stands right here, stands there, and then the Pokemon here you control. You control this one, and then you've got essentially what every person who has started with Pokemon wants: to control the Pokemon. Have the commands here down in the UI little corner right here. I'm sorry, I'm blocking it here, but they have that little UI in the corner, and then be able to run around and attack. We're so close. We were so close. I'm sorry, I'm ranting about this. I almost have to say like this is baby steps, but we're so close to pulling this off. But they didn't get the memo. Just we're really close. I'm hoping maybe next iteration they'll figure it out. You know, most likely they'll probably want to innovate on this one, but I really want them to switch it. Maybe in the next Pokemon game we'll be able to just strictly control the Pokemon and swap out if we needed to. But man, I was so excited for a minute. But and then it like broke my heart knowing that we're controlling the player, not the Pokemon itself. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry I'm like a little heated about this. I'm a little emotional about it, but I was so like excited. I was so excited to see us be able to control the Pokemon. It it got to me. It broke me for a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. And so, like everything else, they could have built upon that. It looks good. It looks pretty. Yeah, the graphics aren't exactly amazing, and everybody shits on the graphics, but it doesn't matter about the graphics. Like, let's be real. Like, we just want to be able to control the Pokemon in a 3D space and attack it like an action-oriented Pokemon style game, like Pokken. Like Pokken, they had the formula right there. Now, if they could just merge Pokken with the Arceus engine or whatever they have going on here, and then you have an amazing game that's probably gonna sell well into the next few generations. Like you have so many of the fundamentals right there, and you're just like so close and yet so far away. I'm sorry, I ranted about it. Like I had to post about this because like man, like Pokemon Presents, it was fine up until this last part, and then it had me, and then kind of broke my heart. I'm sorry. I really wanted to talk about this on stream and also send this off to the way. So, my heart.